guys. So given that a lot of you had some really similar answers to the prompt this week, I wanted to try something a little bit different and record a video of kind of my thoughts on a lot of your responses for this week, since they were largely really similar, and just, spice it up a little bit. Instead of just, reading my comments on a discussion board, you can actually see my face and hear my voice. So that's, just some different stuff for you. So I wanted to just talk about, I'm going to keep this really short and brief, but I wanted to just talk about some of the common threads that I saw in your posts, which were all really good, really thoughtful, by the way. So, thank you for your thoughtful analysis of the statement. So some of the most common things that I saw were, I think everyone, literally everyone, said yes, it would have been revolutionary at the time in 1977. So I'm with you there. I agree. And I think that's one of the big reasons that we teach this document over and over again, is because it would have been revolutionary at the time, and because it's revolutionary in that it challenged feminism then and it challenges feminism today, I think. And so it really deepens our thinking on feminism and inclusion and intersectionality, even before that was a word, and so on and so forth. So totally with you. Revolutionary at the time. And then the majority of you went on to say it would not be as revolutionary today. We still have a ways to go as a society, even though we are moving in the right direction. So I heard that phrase over and over again in your posts. We still have a ways to go as a society, even if we are moving in the right direction. So I kind of have, my thoughts are all over the place with this, but I'm going to try to express them in a coherent way. And so the third thing that I noticed that was a general trend among your posts was that some of you said that it might be less revolutionary today than it was in 1977, but we still have yet to really achieve the goals or come, we haven't come nearly far enough in the past 40-ish years since it's been published. So along these lines, one of your classmates said, it's dangerous to think that we have come so far that a movement like this is no longer needed. And I tend to agree with that. It is dangerous to think that we don't need this kind of statement anymore, or that it wouldn't be maybe as surprising, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in a second. So, but I wanted to also bring something up that this made me think of, which is the idea of post-feminism. I don't know if any of you have heard about this, but you've probably experienced it. Post-feminism being the belief that, we've made it to a point where we don't really need feminism anymore. Women have achieved enough equality. That's like the tagline of post-feminism, if there was such a thing. So there is, I think, this belief since maybe like the 90s-ish, like 2000s-ish, that like, why do we still need feminism? Like, what are we advocating for? We have the right to abortion, women are in the workplace, like, what are we still fighting for? And that's something we're definitely going to be really interrogating in this class, because when we say women have achieved equality, which women are we talking about? And furthermore, feminism isn't just concerned about women. It's concerned with all kinds of people, non-binary folks, trans folks, black folks, intersex folks, anybody you can imagine, like, that is suffering from any vast array of inequalities. We are concerned with their justice too, as a feminist project. So we're not only concerned with, women being able to have access to the workplace, because the wage gap is a very real thing that still exists, and it's much worse for Indigenous women, Black women, Hispanic women than it is for white women. And although there's no hierarchy of oppression, which I've been kind of shoving down your throats at this point, it persists nonetheless. So we need to take these kinds of things into account when we say things like, not you guys, but like when we hear things like, we're in a post-feminist world, like we don't need feminism anymore. And I think that we run the risk, like our classmate said, we run the risk of, stepping into dangerous territory when we say that we've come so far that this wouldn't be revolutionary anymore, because I think for a lot of people it would still be pretty revolutionary. It would be pretty jarring to hear from a group of radical socialist Black lesbian feminists, declaring that they have worth in this world and declaring that they inherently deserve the same rights as everybody else. That's a radical act then and now. So I'm gonna wrap it up. So furthermore, I just really wanted to push you all to think about the fact that maybe this wouldn't be so revolutionary to hear on social media or talk about it with other people your age. But I want you to think about where we are as a country right now. Our president is about as far right as it can get. And this isn't even just happening in the United States. It's trending, globally. Britain, places in Europe, Brazil, all over the world, far right groups have been coming out of the woodwork, so to say. I mean, they never really went away, but they've been gaining power politically in a lot of places in the world. So it's not just the US, but I mean, we live in the US, so this is something that I thought about immediately reading your posts. Our president, about as far right as you can get. He has publicly said that there are good people among white supremacist groups like the KKK. 53% of white women voted for him in the 2016 election. So to a white woman who voted for Trump, which is the majority of white women in this country, would this statement be revolutionary to them? It might not revolutionize them, but would it be surprising for them to hear? Would they agree with it? Would they disagree with it? Would, where would they fall if they heard someone say, Black lesbian lives matter? So maybe it wouldn't, what I'm trying to get across is, does it really seem like the Combahee River Collective's statement would not be revolutionary if you talked about it with the people who voted our president into office and continue to support his presidency? So that's just something to think about. Really, really thoughtful posts this week. You guys are doing an awesome job thinking through this really meaningfully, and I appreciate that. But I just wanted to, push you a little further, think a little deeper about where we are politically as a country and as a world, and just get you to think about, it might not everybody in our immediate worlds, we tend to live in these echo chambers on social media, and in our friend groups, we tend to be friends with people who have the same political views as us. So maybe to the people who are immediately around you, this would be oh yeah, Black lesbian lives matter. Yes, duh. But to a lot of the world, and unfortunately a majority of the United States, it's a little more contentious and a little messier than that. So I just wanted to push you to think a little bit more deeply about that. So keep up the great work. Talk to you soon.